before I press play, Urameshi. Whatever kind of mission it is, there's no way I'm getting involved.
Okay, just start the tape.
Hey, sorry, editing Scott here from the future. I don't know what happened with the static on my microphone. We're figuring out whether it was from mine or from Ollie's mic, but hopefully, as the episodes go on, it's not going to be indicative of the quality going forward. And really sorry about it. Hope it's not too distracting. And if you know a quick and dirty way to fix it, let me know, because obviously I'm always looking to learn how to be better at this as well. Thanks again. Hope you're enjoying the show. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. My name is Scott, and welcome to our newest project here at Helga House Productions as a companionship show to Yu Yu Hakusho. Partially in celebration of the Netflix series that's coming out next week, but also because it's a great show. And, I didn't realize. Sorry. Hi, I'm Scott. Here is Ollie. Ollie's here too.
Hi, I'm Ollie. Welcome to Redacted.
Redacted. We've decided to never say the name of the show because they never say the name of the show in Yu Yu Hakusho, except in the dub previews. So there's that. I gotta say, when we started researching for this show, I didn't realize how much of a cult classic this show was, but okay, run a little poll amongst your friends and amongst yourselves here. Anybody who knows of this show, and maybe you can jump in on this too, Ollie, does anybody who knows of this show not hold it in high regard?
No. Anyone who I heard who watched this show, they were like, yeah, it's up there. Great. Awesome.
Right. Okay. Like it came out when it came out. It did what it did when it came out, and it really stayed in a lot of people's minds. And so if this is the first time you're hearing of this show or the first time you're seeing Yu Yu Hakusho, what we wanted to create was sort of a companion show to go along with it for folks who haven't seen it, and to have the sort of perspective of folks who have seen it. And I don't know about you, Ollie, but I am firmly wearing my rose-tinted glasses.
Ooh.
I feel like there's going to be a lot of things that come up that either aren't going to make sense or are going to be ridiculous or are going to be things that we would call out in a lesser show. Mm-hmm. And I feel like we're going to let a lot of things slide.
Oh, yeah. Like you have to consider, like, this show was aired back in 92, right? So I would personally, it aged pretty well.
Well, for an anime of its kind, absolutely. And the character designs, where they went and how they continued, and it's famous for its the fashion stylings of the characters eventually. It's famous for its power system. It's famous for its characters. It's famous for its relationship. It's famous for its everything. Yeah. And so we decided to finally go back through and rewatch the series and, go through it together. And then the second half of each episode is going to be us talking about a specific concept or a specific thing about the series. So today, we're going to go through episodes 1 to 4, and we're going to go through our personal histories with the show, because I think that everybody's history with this show is a little bit different than your history would have been with Dragon Ball or One Piece. Mm-hmm. Because this show was never as ubiquitous as Dragon Ball and One Piece.
That is true.
It's not as everywhere. So
it's not like it didn't make an impact like I don't know. Like you said, it's not like one of the big name animes like Dragon Ball, One Piece, Full Metal Alchemist, right? Naruto.
Naruto.
Yeah. But it's there. Everyone knows it. It's like this Full Metal Alchemist, right? Well regarded,
Hmm.
really loved, but it's never referred as one of the big three or something, right? Like
Right.
Bleach, Naruto, One Piece,
Do you
Dragon Ball.
remember when we were the first time we sat down to record something? I think we were talking about shows to cover.
Hmm.
And we were talking about how Yu Yu Hakusho was kind of, it's that second level of anime. So like if you've got One Piece, Dragon Ball, and Naruto, and maybe even Bleach on that first level, with Sailor Moon, Pokemon, Digimon, all
Yeah,
these
yeah,
like
yeah,
really mainstream anime.
yeah, yeah.
Yu Yu Hakusho was like kind of a level below, where you have to
It,
get through the surface
yeah.
in order to get to a show like Yu Yu Hakusho, because it's not as well, it's just not as ubiquitous, it's not as
And
big, it's not as major. Now
it's not,
that
but the funny thing is, it has 4 seasons, right? Back then, anime series usually have like a season or two,
right.
but this one went for 4. So I'm like, oh wow, how
Mhm.
come people never took notice of this? They did,
To
but it's just I don't know. I don't know how to explain it.
I really, really want to get into the eventually when we do get into it, I really want to get into the production side of the show and the studio that put it together, because uh, unlike what you see with a lot of modern anime, where it's like studio first, like what Studio Bones looks like. We've
You,
talked about with Let's Jam. They
you
went
know,
on to form Studio Bones.
mhm,
You know what Studio Trigger looks
yep.
like. You know the shows they put together. I don't remember who did this production, but I'd be interested to see if they did what else they went on to do after finishing this ubiquitous series.
Mm. You know what? While you were discussing that, I was curious, like, what anime came out back in '92 alongside with Yu Yu Hakusho? To
Okay,
be honest, there's a lot of like really good animes. I'm pretty sure not everyone remembers Ranma One Half.
everybody knows Ranma One
Yeah.
Half.
So Ranma came out. Dragon Ball Z, the original,
Yeah.
came out same year.
Okay.
Sailor Moon, same thing. So we get this big name animes, right?
Right. Maybe it was like drowned in the release schedule.
Could be. I mean, like we all know how popular it has a cult following, dude. And Crayon Shin-chan, yeah, that one's pretty cool. I like that one.
Hmm.
Yeah,
So
could be it.
mhm. So it originally aired in Japan in October 10th, 1992 was its first air date.
Hmm.
But then it didn't come over to to England, to North America,
94.
until like 2002.
Really?
So it was 10 years but between its original air date and before it came over to North America. Now I'd
Licensing
be
hell, eh?
kind of. It was Funimation did the dub, but again, these are all things that we're going to talk about eventually. This opening sort of gush is just to really prime you for what's to come
Hmm.
in future episodes of this show. But first, as we talked about, we are going to really quickly run through the first 4 episodes. So we're assuming you've already watched the first 4 episodes. It was kind of prerequisite watching before you came onto this show, but if you didn't, you're here anyway. That's great. That's okay. We're here. It's gonna happen. We're gonna sort of get into things. So, first episode, surprised to be dead. And in this episode, we meet Yusuke Urameshi, who basically was a delinquent whose mother is considered highly coded to be a prostitute, gets in fights. He's got a heck of a reputation.
But it's
Like,
not confirmed that she's a.
that's true. That's true. Not in the anime anyway.
Mhm.
We wanted to say that the OP Smile Bomb, sorry, is so good and it will get stuck in your head.
Once
We
you
are
hear
going
it, oh,
we're going to get into a whole episode about Smile Bomb. Like, we're going to do a whole episode about it at some
Sunday
point.
OP. Yep.
So I just noticed as well during the flashback was the oh, come on, brain. The echo on Yusuke's voice. There's a slight echo on his ghost voice. And I love that they used a flashback in order to get us acquainted with Yusuke. Mm-hmm. Because he's sitting there in the sky, dead, and is all like, now how did this day start? Which makes for a really good exposition device. And so we meet Keiko, we meet Kuwabara, we meet Iwamoto, who's his teacher. But like, Iwamoto, it feels like he's a little bit justified in his belief about delinquent kids.
This is not the principal, right? This is the guy.
No, this is the teacher. This is the teacher.
Truth?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. I feel like what I get from this guy is for him to take it that personal towards delinquent students. I feel like this guy had some run-ins with delinquents back then, right?
Oh, he definitely got bullied.
Oh yeah. So I think it's like the revenge of the hall monitors. I don't know if that's a right term, but you know, he didn't stand up to them or anything. And it's his way of getting back at him, I guess. Mm-hmm. This guy, I hate this guy. And the other teacher.
Oh, you're not supposed to like the teachers.
Yeah,
they're awful.
Principal was a cool guy, man.
Oh, Takamoto was great.
Takamoto was good.
Takamoto's like got a heart. He's got a good mind about things. He's trying to get through to Yusuke as best he can, but doesn't seem to work. But I want you to name a more iconic first line than Kuwabara's "You're a Meshi."
Oh god!
Like, name a more iconic introduction than Chris Sabat's Kuwabara calling Yusuke out on the street and then getting his head kicked in.
Hey, that's my boy. Just want to let the listeners know, like what viewers know. Kuwabara is my favorite character in this one. He's my boy.
If you are watching this for the first time and you're wondering who is this tall, skinny guy with a pomp, he is going to be your favorite character. Mm-hmm. I don't care who you are. I don't care what you think. He is going to be your favorite character.
Yeah.
Your other favorite character, Botan, is introduced at the beginning of this too.
Yep.
She's the Grim Reaper.
With a British accent?
Who rides on a paddle wearing a kimono.
She's cute.
She's the pilot of the River Styx. She's drawn to be super cute, and you're going to love her. Your other favorite character, Keiko.
She's a borderline asshole. Botan.
She's a huge jerk in these first few episodes.
Yep. Yep.
So, Keiko, your other favorite character, also is introduced. And finally, your most favorite character, Yusuke, is who are the main guy that we're following here. Gets involved. Mm-hmm. Now, it turns out that Yusuke was hit by a car, trying to save a little boy who he tried to save before, which is something that nobody expected him to do in Spirit World. And so, but Yusuke, thinking that, he didn't matter, nobody cared about him, decides to go to his own wake, and I actually teared up at the wake.
Kuwabara made me teared up. Kuwabara rolled up.
Oh my god.
I was like, damn.
Yeah.
Buddy really
devastated. Cared.
Holy shit.
Without his rival, right?
Yeah.
He doesn't see any reason to continue.
I'm going to reference something on this. Do you watch a lot of Transformers?
Let's pretend for the sake of the show that I do.
There's an arc there where Megatron kind of killed Optimus Prime.
In which Transformers generation?
I think that was the original generation.
Okay.
I'm not sure.
Because he died in the movie.
Yeah. But this is the animated series.
Okay.
And it showed there that Megatron was bored. It's like he doesn't have any purpose
Without his
without
greatest rival.
Prime,
Yep.
right? So I think he ended up indirectly helping resurrect Optimus Prime. I'm like, you're not a you're you're not a jerk.
You're
You're
just
pretend
bored.
you're pretending to be a jerk. Dude,
Yeah.
just tell your homie Prime, like, hey man, I'm bored. All right, cool. But then we're not gonna have a show anymore. It's gonna be about two robots hanging out. Like,
It's true. No more conflict, no more
no
show.
more conflict, no more show. But yeah, I
Um,
think that's a Quabara and Yosuke relationship thingamajig.
well, at least it starts that way.
Mm-hmm.
I think that you're gonna see where they go, and it is a beautiful friendship,
Ooh, one
and
more
it really
thing.
sets up the characters
It
in
did.
this. Botan sets up the arc perfectly. So I love that in the first episode there really isn't any explanation about any of this and how it's literally just if you can complete this ordeal, then you can get your life back. And I feel like in the manga, this was Togashi wrapping up chapter 1 without fully understanding where the show was going to go or where the manga was going to go.
Oh, so
Like
it's like a crossroad episode. Like, okay, I'm just gonna make this.
yeah,
Where
and
do
then
I go?
if because if it got picked up, then he could do more with it.
That's true.
Then he could continue the story, which obviously he does because the manga got picked up by Shonen Jump and all that good stuff happened. Um, and this is the first time we hear the soundtrack, which is going to be making a lot more uh, appearances in the coming episodes. The soundtrack to this show is probably just as iconic as the OP, as the characters, as the rest of it.
Mm-hmm.
Almost everything about this show is iconic.
The
And we're not just
fashion,
saying that.
the fashion of the show is actually iconic.
Again, oh man, we're getting off track. There are so many things that so many topics that we're gonna get into with regards to this episodes and these episodes and every single aspect of this show.
Mm.
Needless to say, we're very excited. So I love that in the second episode, Koema appears. The first thing Yusuke thinks when he hears about King Yama is to figure out how to fight him.
Right, fight a god.
I mean, he does eventually fight godlike beings,
He
but
did fight god, like, but come on, dude. You're new here. You're new in the afterlife, buddy. You died like what, like 5 minutes ago, and you want to
like an
fight a
hour
god?
ago.
Like,
Yeah.
come on, man. Seriously.
So, and there's something that I absolutely love about like cosmic and underworld bureaucracy.
I laughed when that door opened when he got there. I'm like, really, really, this
Yeah.
is the afterworld, corporate. Really,
Yeah.
this is hell. This is hell. This is not heaven. Oh my
Hell is
God.
hell is capitalism.
Hell is
Hell is bureaucracy.
corporate. Hell is corporate.
Yeah.
It's people running around, stacks of paper, dudes with phones in their faces. Like, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh no, I don't want to be there.
So in Keiko, let's talk for a second about how much of a champ Keiko is for just going along with all this.
I'm gonna mention something about Keiko. If this was set right now, Yosuke's ass could be in jail already.
Why?
Grabby.
Oh, yes, that part. Yeah, that's bad. No, that doesn't happen yet.
But he referenced he used to do that to Keiko, and Keiko would know that
That's
it's him
true.
if he did.
That's how.
So,
Yep.
come on, dog. You can't,
So we're gonna find that out in the next episode.
Yep.
But for now, we find out that dead people can speak to live people through their dreams. And how cool is it that Keiko just like is so chill to go along with the fact that her childhood friend just died, dead, went to the wake, is ostensibly over, former friend, and how chill she is to have a dream that he's gonna just come back. And she's just like, yeah, cool, I'll keep your body safe, no problem.
I don't know, dude. Like,
And she deals with so much over the course of the show, and that she just takes it all like a champ. Like, how was she not broken?
I hate to say this, man. I hate to say this word. The power of love.
Okay, we did a whole episode about that.
But the power of love compels, dog. It's
Yeah,
like,
yeah, okay. And I love that Kuwabara is painted as like really in tune with the spiritual as early as episode 2.
Of all people.
Yeah. Immediately, they're already doing the character work to make us care about this guy and know about this guy.
For the listeners, just to paint you a picture of who Kuwabara is, if you guys are familiar with the bancho fashion back then in the 90s, so you probably played a lot of video games or watched an anime. So these are the guys wearing their school uniforms, right? Undershirt showing up, pompadour hair. That was a thing back then.
Mhm.
And then the female version is called the sukebon. So instead of short skirts, they wear long skirts in rebellion and shit like that. So it's a
Cool.
subculture back then. And it
Mhm.
still flourishes now.
Interesting.
And you would see Kuwabara evolve from a bancho subculture to another subculture, which I'm not going to spoil right now, but he changes subcultures.
Oh, I can't wait. I'm
Yeah,
excited.
man. Yeah, man.
I'm super excited.
Cool dude.
I don't think before the events of this series that Keiko and Kuwabara actually know each other,
I don't think they do.
because they don't, because Kuwabara is just shocked, and this girl must be really into me. Like, he doesn't know who Keiko is, so it's through Yusuke that they meet each other, which is just kind of a fun little thing. In the next episode, we see Kuwabara basically being a punching bag to try and save his friends in Kuwabara, A Promise Between Men. And I love the status quo that they're starting to set up, where, so in the manga at this point, things got really, really episodic, and every chapter was kind of its own short story. And in a lot of ways, Tagashi seemed like he wasn't really sure about where to take things. But as Yusuke is developing in his ordeal, he's trying to be out there, he's trying to help the people around him, and we follow the whole day around Kuwabara, and we see that Kuwabara is actually like a really good fighter.
He is.
Like, he's sure, compared to Yusuke, he's not. But we do see how Kuwabara and Keiko meet. Basically, Kuwabara ends up saving Keiko, which is adorable. And we see that by the end of this incredibly wholesome dream sequence of Yusuke helping Kuwabara study,
Man, that was... Dude,
that
was like, damn.
They actually, like, he actually cares about him.
It's like the foundation of the bro code is being laid before my eyes. What's going on here?
It's gorgeous. It's beautiful.
No. Because like Kuwabara, because he's, like, in that episode they got into a fight, and then this one teacher wants to get rid of him, and then they're gonna get suspended, and one of his boys have a part-time job. So the teacher wants to get this guy not able to work, and Buddy is in a situation where his mom is sick and he's working to make ends meet for his little brothers. I mean,
and
like,
they gotta pass a test,
right? And then this teacher, I don't care. It sounds like a you problem, dog. I'm like, wow,
these teachers,
you're a horrible human being, man.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
No redeeming quality.
No. So no fighting. 1 week, Kuwabara was like, yeah, cool. Buddy gets jumped on a daily basis. On a daily basis.
Times.
Ugh.
Yeah.
Yeah, he just took it.
So, two things I wanted to mention here. When Yusuke takes over Keiko's, or the young lady, the girl's body. He takes over another girl's body, and she like leaps 12 feet into the air to defend Kuwabara.
Beast mode. I'm like, oh, okay.
And like beats the heck out of these dudes, who then run off, and she's just left there. But then, because Yusuke gets booted out of that girl's body, I think, and then
he only gets a minute, right? He only
something like that
to be in a body.
And so Kuwabara is about to get into something with somebody in a bad way, and Yusuke, I have in my notes here, Yusuke saved Kuwabara with the power of vibes.
You know what?
Because
Basically,
he literally is just like yelling at him and like emoting. He's emoting at him,
I'm gonna
and Kuwabara
vibe
gets it.
danger. Dog. Check
Oh,
this
so
vibe.
good.
Like, oh
So
no.
very good. So, next episode, we meet the investigator who is also a little girl for some reason. Why are all the higher ups in Spirit World children? Like, it's spooky, right?
You know what? There's only a few things I'm scared in my life that I not scared, like things I don't like.
Mhm.
I don't like seeing hangnails.
Right.
Anything that's ghost and it's a baby or a child, no bueno, no
Okay.
mames. I'm
Yep.
okay with full on monsters, full on ghosts, like the dun ghost. Yeah, sure, whatever. I'll hang out with you. But
Sure.
children ghost, no bueno.
Not for you.
No. Uh,
So
too
we never
creepy.
find out. We never find out where
Nope.
she came from. She's never mentioned again.
She's bare feet.
Also, she's barefoot for some reason, which
Well,
again doesn't really make sense.
I mean, sure, you're a spirit. You
But
fly.
I love how she describes Keiko. She's like, of course you love her. She's smart and athletic and fun and kind and like just
Keiko.
rhyming off these things.
Yeah, Keiko straight 10 out of 10. She's a 10. No questions
Oh
asked.
yeah,
Like she's like, yeah,
100%.
girl, you a 10. This
Yeah.
guy, I don't know. Like, okay.
I don't know why she likes you so much. I don't think we ever find out how the fire at Yusuke's house has started. It's literally some guy walking by with a flaming trash bag.
No, it was shown. So on the
But like why
episode,
the fire was started.
yeah. So on the episode that Keiko went to visit Yosuke's home, it was a mess, and there's a note
Mhm.
from Yosuke's mom that she's gonna go off somewhere. She was gonna clean, and then she sees a unconscious Yosuke, wipes him up, like, oh my god, your
Yeah.
lips look so cute. I'ma kiss
Yes.
you. And
Yes.
then when the kiss was about to happen, community and us are like, oh, warning, there's an arsonist roaming around. Make sure to lock your windows and
Well,
blah
there's an
blah blah.
arsonist. Oh, I thought they said
Like
due to
fires.
like be careful of fires due to the dry weather.
Yeah. And coincidence, after the truck passes, Keiko snaps out like, "Oh, well, I don't want to kiss a dead body. All right, I kind of like you though, but
Yeah.
no bueno right now, dog."
Yeah.
She bolts off, and then conveniently, we see a guy walking at the back of the house. Slides open the window, and the most funny thing I found, he used a beer can or a pop can with a claw stuck on it.
Yeah, that's the saddest that's not a Molotov cocktail. That's not
No,
actually gonna burn.
the house is a mess, garbage everywhere, so
Yeah. It just goes up.
it just goes.
Oh jeez.
And
But we
he,
never find out like we
he
never find
vibed.
out
He vibed to
we
Kuwabara.
yeah, for sure, to save his house. But we never find out like why the fire was set. Like we never find out who the guy was who started the fire.
Nobody caught the guy, dude. That guy is
He's
still
in, he's in the
still
wind.
he's still terrorizing stuff back then.
So I love that, and it's great. I'm going to say that a lot. I love that. That's going to be kind of my thing that I say throughout the entire series. I guarantee it. That Yusuke, the music makes it sound like he's trying to make a hard decision about whether to throw the egg to save Keiko, but we knew based on getting to know this character that immediately he was going to throw the egg without any hesitation.
Oh yeah.
He made no thoughts, qualms, ideas about saving himself.
He
knew
egg.
Immediately that he was going to throw it to save Keiko as soon as he found out that was an option. Obviously, he still doesn't. I think Yusuke struggles with a lot of self-esteem issues.
Yeah.
And
he's always in denial of good things. He doesn't like good things. It seems like that. He seems like he doesn't like good things happening to him.
Well, it's
Keiko
good thing
likes you. Can't you see that? Like, dude.
Yeah.
She cares. Why do you keep denying it? Just let her have it. No, doesn't like me. Come on.
It's kind of good that he threw the egg because, as Koenma says at the end of the episode, if that egg hatched, based on your pure negativity, because you've been kind of an ass,
yeah,
it would have eaten you. You would
straight
have
up
failed.
gonna eat you. You're gonna
So
die.
It's probably good you threw that egg. Come
You're
to think
gonna
of it.
you're gonna die squared. So
Yep.
good call in the egg. Like,
Yeah. Yeah. And so that wraps up the episode. We're getting ready for Yusuke to come back. The previews for the next episode talk about how that happens and what happens next. And we're stoked to get into the next 4 episodes, which we'll be getting into next episode.
Before we get there, I
And
just want to state this one. Burning house, Keiko walks up, gets a bucket, dumps it on her,
oh man, that's the most badass thing she could have done.
runs directly to the house. I'm like, and you don't like this girl, Yosuke.
That's the power of love.
So I'm like, and you don't like this girl, man. Like, really? Really? You don't like this girl. 10 out of 10. Would run to a burning house to get your dead ass. Like,
Would
literally
run
dead
into a
ass
burning building to
out of the
save your
burning
dead
house.
body.
Really? You don't like this girl. Like, come on.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's gonna put it
Wow.
out there.
Yeah.
Like we said, Keiko puts up with a lot, and she's a champ, man.
She is a champ.
She's a
Absolutely.
champ.
So that wraps up our recap portion of the episode. And now it's time for the story time.
Yeah.
So today we're going to kind of go through our personal histories with the series, and mine's a bit of a tale. I don't think I've told you this story.
Yeah, go for it.
So okay, so where I grew up, like this goes back to childhood.
Mhm.
So when I was growing up, I would my family would go camping, and my limited access to manga and anime came through Shonen Jump magazines, which would be bought I would get a Shonen Jump for camping trips or for car trips and stuff, just because it would keep me quiet and it gave me something to do. And it was really the only time I really got to read manga until the school library started carrying it. But this is like when I was...
That's pretty sick for your library to carry manga, man.
Well, it took a lot to get there.
I'm impressed.
So I was probably 8 or 9 when I learned how to read manga. And it was through Shonen Jump. And I had a friend who, his school library, we went to different schools, he was a couple years older, his school library did carry manga. And the first one I remember reading, I think, was Rave Master. It was the first series that I sort of got into. And I remember like reading volume after volume. It got confiscated from my religion teacher. It happened to be in a volume where the cover had a scantily clad woman on it, which obviously was not okay, apparently in a Catholic school, whatever. That's another story. But I remember reading Yu Yu Hakusho, and in my mind it was Yu Yu Hakusho, and it was Yesuk, because I couldn't read Japanese pronunciation to things, was the main character's name. And the chapter that I remember reading, I don't know why this sticks out to me, but the first chapter I remember reading was during the Dark Tournament, where just during the semifinals, right after Hiei easily dispatches one of the characters by putting his sword right through the guy's head.
Yeah.
So it's the chapter that happened immediately after that. And I remember that like the best part of Shonen Jump was that I really learned how to jump into a story regardless of where it is in its story and enjoy that portion of it, instead of being worried about not understanding everything that's going on. I was always very good at that, at just jumping into stories, regardless of where they were, and just enjoying them for what they were. And so I must have read this Shonen Jump magazine 4 or 5 times, back to front, easy. The other things that were being published at the time were, let's see, there was a Yu-Gi-Oh series, but it was like back in ancient Egypt, where they would actually summon monsters based on slabs. Haryaku no Go was in publication. Shaman King was in publication.
Yeah, I think so. Around that time.
I don't remember if Bleach was. One Piece definitely was.
Bleach could have been.
So, point is, I remember like reading this magazine over and over and over again. And then I kind of put it out of my head, but it was always a series in the back of my mind as like this really cool dark series about, it was just it seemed more adult. And obviously when you're 10, that's cool. So eventually I was perusing Giant Tiger of all things. There used to be like a bargain bin where my friend and I would sometimes find old anime DVDs from this like Canadian discount store. If you know Giant Tiger, you know what I'm talking about. And I think you probably know the bins I'm talking about too.
Yeah.
I picked up a lot of, at the time I was sort of collecting Dragon Ball, and I was watching a lot of Dragon Ball, and I had started collecting the orange boxes, which, if you know the production history of Dragon Ball Z, you know that they're not good in terms of like aspect ratio and colors, but they're cheap and easy to get.
Mm-hmm.
So I started collecting the orange boxes, and then I happened upon a box set of Yu Yu Hakusho. I didn't even know it got an anime at this time. I just remember it being something I read, and I remembered really liking it. And so I got, using my pocket money, I think I was, at this time, I was 14. I think I had a bit of my own money, and I bought this box set of Yu Hakusho, and it was the Spirit Detective Files. So it was the first full arc of the show, and it was back when anime would be like published 5 episodes at a time on a DVD.
Oh wow!
So it was like a box set of these like 6 DVDs, and it had about 5 or 6 episodes on each one, and it was the whole Spirit Detective saga, which is great. Loved it.
So it's like one season, basically, right?
Yeah, it was the first season. They were edited episodes, so I don't really know what was edited out, but it said they were edited episodes.
Probably.
And so I started, probably, and it may have been like it was dubbed. It was the Funimation dub, and I remember watching it, and I remember really loving it, and I remember falling in love with it, and I remember being hooked. And so then I made it my mission to finish the rest of the series.
Mm-hmm.
Not my mission, but like I knew I wanted more because it finished right when the Dark Tournament started. And so eventually I found out about the season DVDs. And so I think I found in another, basically over time I started collecting more and more of the series via bargain bins wherever I could find them. And collected most of the series through that way, and buying the seasons of the show, the season box, the season sets of the show, and did finish the series eventually by the time I think I was 16 maybe. So this was like a long process.
Wow.
Oh yeah. And so I eventually,
It was VC. Was it No, it wasn't DVDs back then.
no,
Right?
it was all DVDs.
Oh, okay.
And I would like watch them on a portable DVD player in my room late at night with headphones in. Yeah, I was a weird kid. And so eventually I did finish the series. But to this day, and I'm excited to see it in this show, in this series that we're doing, I have yet to see, I think it's the first half. There's like a chunk of episodes in the Dark Tournament that I still haven't seen.
Really?
I know what happens, but I haven't actually seen the episodes. And it's like the beginning of the semifinals, or like the semifinal round.
Mm-hmm.
I still haven't seen.
Oh. You're in for a treat, man.
Like I know what happens. I know that Kurama gets a power up. I know that Hiei gets his life together, and I know that, like, I know what happens to Genkai, but I've never actually seen it.
Oh wow. Well, we're covering it, so
We are covering it, and I'm excited to see it. So that's my personal history. So when we said we're gonna cover the show, when I saw that like Netflix is doing a live action, like when I tell you that I have history with this show, like it's real history.
Wow, that's good to hear, man. Like,
And so
pretty good.
I am so excited to finally be going through the show again for the first time in like
Ooh.
probably over 10 years.
Yeah. Wow.
It's like, because I didn't watch it on Toonami. I didn't even know there were video games. Like once in a while, like I think
There's
I found
a lot
there
of.
is.
They have a weird fighting game on Super Nintendo. It's a different genre completely, but it's considered fighting. You should look that up.
I found the Spirit Detective game, the Game Boy Advance game, at a pawn shop again in my teens.
Mm-hmm.
And I played it. It was bad. Made me sad.
Oh god.
But like, I remember seeing so many like spotlights of this series popping up in different places. And it's just amazing to me that it never took off as much as
Good.
other shows of its kind did.
Maybe
That's my personal history with Yu Yu Hakusho. I'm ready to hear yours.
mine's weird because like growing up in Southeast Asia, we have anime is basically on the local channels, right?
Mhm.
Like some of the things that I remember watching the entirety of it on the TV was Yu Yu Hakusho, Air Gear, Shaman King, Tenjo Tenge. What else? Card Captor was on back. Sailor Moon was there. Flame of Recca was there, but a lot. But Yu Yu Hakusho, it got popular back in my city.
Mhm.
So, are you familiar with Kancho?
No, but you're going to tell me.
I sent you a something on the chat on Discord. I don't know if you want to read this out loud, but just read it to yourself first.
Yes, I am familiar with this. I know what this is now. Yes.
Yes. So me and my
Yes.
buddies were watching Yu Yu Hakusho, and
Oh
then
no.
instead of screaming Kancho, he says Ray Gun, right? Ray Gun, and then goes at it, which hurts. And then
Yeah.
when Yosuke learns a spirit shotgun, instead of that, they uses that, the thumb, which is so to going to school when you're going up the stairs, you're like, someone behind me, like, no. So that was a big thing back home. They would, if you hear someone behind you say "Ray Gun,"
Oh
you
no.
you turn around or you cover your ass with something because blasted is a word.
You're
So
about to get blasted.
you're about to get blasted. So that was the thing. But yeah, watching this afternoon show. So school ends at 4, so around 4:30, 5 o'clock, it airs on TV, right? And then it's like 2 hours of anime. So sometimes it's gonna be after Yu Yu Hakusho, it's gonna be another anime, another anime, another anime. So at weekdays, you have 2 hours of anime in the afternoon, and then
Wonderful.
on the weekends, you have 2 hours of anime in the morning. So it's awesome. But Yu Yu Hakusho manga wasn't really that popular back home because we get the anime anyways on TV, so we just wait for it like every after school or every day. Uh the video games though for Yu Yu Hakusho was popular back then. Like if you would see like the Sega Genesis one, Super Nintendo one, the Game Boy one, we played a lot of those.
Mhm.
Uh some some of my classmates even tried to have Yosuke's haircut.
Oh,
Yeah, dude. You just like use your
so it
gel
was
and
big.
like
It was big.
yeah, it's funny, man. But yeah, it's a good anime. Grew up with it. I remember like rushing home, like, oh, you're designated to clean the school tonight after your class ends. So, oh my god, I need to like hurry up and get home and watch anime. And then I remember, I think this was also shown in Toonami in later
I remember
years.
hearing about that. Yeah.
Yeah, it was shown in Toonami, and that was cool. OVAs, I don't think I've watched any of the OVAs.
Me neither. And the movies are dubbed. I think I sent you one of the dubs, one of the
Mm-hmm.
movies. Um, but it's not the Funimation dub.
Who dubbed it then?
I don't know, but
Completely
it's
different
a
voice actors?
complete. Oh, like they're different. The obvious one is Kuwabara, but like it's you kind of get used to it really quick.
We need to cover that, man.
We're gonna cover it. It's gonna be a thing we cover because it's freaking weird, man.
Yeah.
It's gonna mess with your brain.
Again, also one funny thing about, I think, Southeast Asia in general, like piracy was really rampant in the 90s.
Mhm.
So you can buy like a DVD of the entire whole season of Yu Yu Hakusho for like, I don't know, $1.
Wow.
Yeah, dude. So you have to go to these like shady malls with like stalls and stuff like that, and they would be playing it in the background. Hey, we got the new blah 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 blah. I was like, oh shit. So I got my lunch money, buy it, and then like slap it on the player. And like, oh, okay, it's gonna watch animated. And then as I grew older, I started buying more. Yeah, I hate it. I used to support. I buy those bootleg stuff, but
Hey,
now,
it is, man.
yeah,
It's
but
it's just
now,
how it is.
yeah, but now I don't. Like, I get subscriptions. I watch it legitimately because I want the artists and the animators to like get funded.
Mhm.
Continue going doing the good stuff.
Absolutely.
So yeah,
100%. So
fashion
that's your
sense. A lot of people try to like imitate the fashion sense of Yu Yu Hakusho back then. I'm like, what are you doing? It looks cool though.
It can.
It can be
Again, we're
cool.
gonna do a whole episode on the fashion of the show, probably during Chapter Black.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So I think that kind of wraps it up for our first episode here of our new show. If you are a big fan of what we're doing here at Helga House, then we urge you to check out our Patreon at patreon.com/Helga House, where you get extended episodes of most of the shows we do here. There are exclusive specials. There are hopefully, eventually, coming along soon, we're going to be having game nights, probably on Jackbox, to celebrate and hang out with you. And eventually, your names are going to be scrolling across the screen and or being written out as shout outs at the end of each and every single episode. So hopefully you enjoyed what we made for you today. And if you are watching this podcast on YouTube, then subscribe to the channel, leave us a nice comment, maybe like the video. Tell us about your personal history of Yu Yu Hakusho, because I think everybody's got a bit of a unique story with regards to this show, as it's not as easy as I watched it on Toonami, or I read the manga, or I really like
I bought
Togashi,
bootleg CDs.
or I've never seen it and I'm watching it with you guys because I love the way you talk about things.
Yeah.
I mean, if that's your story, great. And if you're listening to the show on your favorite podcast app, leaving us a nice review is great as well. And follow us on that podcast app. So thank you so much for checking out what we're doing here. And hopefully we'll catch you in the next one.
Get blasted.
Oh, you didn't say it.
Blasted is a word.
Blasted's a word.
They go all out, huh?
This show was proudly produced by Helga House Productions. And for more shows like the one you just listened to, visit helgahouse.com.